What's up everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this video, I want to go over my thoughts on Nintendo's summer of 2026, and if it's a good summer or not. Let's dive into it. Starting off with our first game of Nintendo's summer, it is already out, and it is, of course, Star Fox. And out of the games I'm going to mention, this is definitely the one I'm most excited for, but that doesn't really mean I'm that excited for it. Honestly, Nintendo Summer is just kind of meh. The games there, are kind of just meh games, and yeah, there's 3, but, they're not, that good. Mainly, the other 2 I'll mention. Star Fox is actually fine, it's getting good reviews, and it doesn't look that bad, but it's, the fact that it's kind of, it should be great, but it's not. Anyway, the game looks really good, and like I said, it's honestly my favorite out of the games I'm going to mention. I mean, it looks good, the story is insane, and the fact that there's going to be different story paths to take is kind of insane, because you just don't see that with many Nintendo games. And this art style is kind of crazy. You don't see it with many Nintendo games. And I do agree with the general consensus of the characters do look weird, but I would like to say that I actually think every character looks completely fine, except Fox, which is still a problem because he's the main character, but, I mean, Fox looks weird, but most people are like, every character looks weird. For me, the main problem for me is just Fox. As you probably guessed, our second game for Nintendo Summer is Splatoon Raiders, and this one's reviews just came out, and the reviews are kind of mediocre. It's not a bad game, and it will appeal to, specific audiences quite a lot, but, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it's not hitting, a large majority of people, because honestly, that's probably a good thing. My point is, though, for the games that I'm mentioning, since all the games that I'm mentioning for Nintendo Summer is kind of mediocre, then, just saying another game that won't even appeal to most people is kind of like, well, just add it to the list. But, anyway, the game does seem pretty fun, especially for the people who are into Splatoon. And most of the reviewers can't really seem to agree if it's roguelike or not, but it is taking a lot more roguelike elements than we originally thought it would. Which is definitely interesting, and I feel like Nintendo doesn't tend to go for roguelikes, so the fact that Nintendo is going for a roguelike, or at least a roguelike-like, is definitely interesting, and it seems like the game is going to be more immersive and expansive than we originally thought. But a big thing I saw with the reviewers is that they can't really decide if the game is going to be that long. They all said it will be at least 10 hours, which I think is fair, but, I mean, for a game of this vibe, you'd want it to be longer than that, probably closer to around 20. And again, as you probably guessed, our final game for this video is Rhythm Heaven Groove. And, again, I know this is a big theme for this video, but my main problem with Nintendo's summer in 2026 is, yeah, you got 3 full games, but they're all just kind of mediocre. Nothing impressive, nothing really showing the power of the Switch 2, especially because this is a Switch 1 game. Anyways, the game looks fine. I mean, I think the fact that there is going to be a story mode is actually kind of surprising, but, like I said, I mean, it's just kind of mediocre. And I also think there's, 2 other problems with this game. First off, the price. From what I understand, this will be a $40 to $50 game, which is way too much. As you can see by the gameplay on screen, it is just does not look that worth it. I expect, especially if you look at other games for that same price tag, like Split Fiction, for example, this game is nothing compared to it. So, I honestly think this game's a little overpriced. Another problem I have with it is the fact that there's no physical. And, I mean, I personally prefer physicals, and even though I don't plan to get it, I know a lot of other people prefer physicals as well. And the weird part about this not being a physical is it's a first-party Nintendo game. Almost every first-party Nintendo game from the dawn of time has a physical. You can always guarantee Nintendo to make a physical because it's their console, it's their game. It always makes sense, it always matches up, but not today, I guess, because this game won't even have a physical. I understand the game's smaller, but then that just goes back to my point of this being, being too expensive. So, yeah, again, it will fit its, audience of people liking rhythm games, but also, again, that is just a really small audience. But, I guess on the bright side is, this game should be fun to play with your friends, because recently we heard that the game will have, a multiplayer. Another thing that is kind of odd is I feel like Nintendo expects this game to be really big, and I just don't see why. I mean, the game just seems so extremely small, and, doesn't really seem like a game that would be that big. And the reason I say Nintendo thinks it will be big is because of the fact that, well, they talked about this game a very long time in the Nintendo General Direct recently. It was the opening game, and I talked more about this on my Direct video, but, like, that is not a good decision. This game is just not big enough. It's also not new to be the opening game for your General Direct, so, in my opinion, I feel like Nintendo thinks this game's going to be bigger than it actually is.
Well, it's definitely an interesting summer. Out of the 3 games I talked about, I'm most interested in Star Fox, but honestly, I might get none of it. I mean, it's an okay summer, I'd say. But that'll do it for today's video. Peace out, everyone.